Hello friends and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. You see, recently I got a question about this 2023 TREK DOMANE SL7 road bike. So in this episode I'm gonna give you the buyer's guide for this bike, and also at the end I'm gonna tell you, should you just go ahead and buy it or should you just consider this bike. So as you see, this is the fourth iteration of the TREK DOMANE platform, specifically TREK DOMANE SL7 model we are talking about. And the first question we gotta answer is, who is this bike for? So if you are looking for an endurance road bike with a bit more relaxed geometry and a really comfortable bike for your long days in the saddle, then definitely you need to check the TREK DOMANE platform. Everybody who has ridden a TREK DOMANE platform with the IsoSpeed decoupler will always tell you that this is probably the most comfortable bike you can find on the market. So as I say, if you are into long days in the saddle, comfortable bike riding, definitely TREK DOMANE platform is designed for that. This specific TREK DOMANE SL7 has a retail price of eye-watering $6,830, and unfortunately this is the way that the bike industry is going. Every year bike prices are just becoming higher and higher, so you cannot avoid it. But we will dive into the specification of this bike and really see what do you get for this $6,830 retail price. Also, when you look at the paint schemes on this bike, there are two options. The first option is this beautiful white paint scheme with a hint of red, and then you also have this paint scheme which is kind of a gray paint scheme, or almost like a silver gray paint scheme. It is nice that TREK is offering at least two paint schemes on this bike because it's a pretty expensive bike. Personally, I would go with this beautiful white paint scheme, kind of white, red and black. It's a very classical paint scheme and it looks astonishing on this bike. Okay, so now we can dive into the specifications of this bike and really see what do you get for your hard-earned money. We can kick off with the frame and the fork on this bike. So the frame is the 500 series OCLV Carbon fiber frame from TREK with their IsoSpeed decoupler. It has 12mm through axles both front and the back, of course flat mount disc brakes, and I have to mention on this carbon fiber frame, 500 series OCLV is not the top of the line creme de la creme that TREK can do, but this is what they are offering you here on this price range. Fork, again carbon fiber fork from TREK with the tapered carbon steerer, 12mm through axle, and also flat mount disc brakes. Now the secret sauce of TREK DOMANE bikes is definitely this IsoSpeed decoupler. In the previous generations they would have the IsoSpeed on the front and the IsoSpeed on the back. Now it's only on the back, and the IsoSpeed decoupler basically allows you that your seat tube can move independently from the top tube and the seat stays of the bike, and it is a really astonishing solution from TREK which works perfectly fine in the real world, and really everybody who has ever ridden a TREK DOMANE bike will tell you that they are very, very comfortable bikes. Also, I have to mention here that carbon frames and forks from TREK come with their lifetime warranty, which is absolutely excellent. I'm not expecting any problems here. TREK's quality control is pretty decent, so shouldn't be any problems with these carbon frames and forks, and worst case scenario, even if you have some problems, lifetime warranty should work perfectly fine. I will also mention here that on this bike you can mount the fenders, which is absolutely great. Of course, when you mount the fenders, it will limit a little bit the tire size you can use on this frame and the fork. Now let's talk about the wheels on this bike, because I think it's also one of the secret sauces on this specific DOMANE SL7 model. So the front and the rear wheel are Bontrager Aeolus Pro 37 wheel, and this is a carbon fiber wheel from Bontrager, a tubeless ready carbon fiber wheel, of course with 12mm through axles both front and the back. So if we go a bit into the details of this Bontrager Aeolus Pro 37 wheel set, you can see that, as I said, a carbon fiber wheel set. 37mm is the rim height, tubeless ready. 21mm is the inner rim width. It comes with DT Swiss spokes, 24 spokes front and the back, and also the DT Swiss Pro Lock nipples. And I will also mention here that the hubs on this wheel set are based on DT Swiss 350 hubs. Absolutely superb stuff. 12mm through axles front and the back, and with this carbon fiber wheel set you get again the warranty, lifetime warranty on this wheel set. Also an interesting thing to notice is that the total weight of the wheel set, so we have a front wheel at 685 grams and the rear wheel at 820 grams. So all in, we are speaking about 1,500 grams, maybe 1,520 grams. So it's a very light carbon fiber wheel set in my book, and it's great stuff that Trek is including their carbon fiber wheel set on this bike. So this is absolutely excellent stuff here. I will mention that this wheel set is wrapped in the Bontrager R3 tire, of course tubeless ready tire, and this is a tire 32mm wide, and which is great. So I'm glad that Trek is including immediately 32mm tire out of the box, because it's going to give you so much more air volume and really a smooth ride. Maximum tire you can fit here is 38mm if you are not running the fenders. If you are running the fenders, then it's going to be 35mm tire. I believe that even in the future, if you are replacing these tires, you can stick with 32mm tires, because generally speaking this bike is very comfortable because of this IsoSpeed decoupler. Of course you can go higher width of the tire, you always get more air volume and you always get even smoother ride. These wheels, as I see here, already come prepared tubeless ready from Trek, so this should be perfectly fine. I will mention here the drivetrain on this bike now. So everything from the shifters, front mech and the rear mech is an excellent Shimano Ultegra Di2 electronic group set. So this is the latest greatest Shimano R8170 group set, 12-speed group set, and this is a semi-wireless group set. So you have the shifters and the front mech communicating wirelessly, and then there's a cable running from the front mech to the rear mech, because the whole brain of the system sits in the rear mech. Shimano Ultegra Di2, excellent group set, is going to work perfectly fine, and absolutely no complaints here from me. Just a small little detail that the rear mech can accept the maximum cassette of 34 tooth, so just keep that in mind if you want to upgrade in the future. Crankset, they didn't cut corners here, again Shimano Ultegra crankset, 50-34 chain rings, and this crankset comes with the Praxis T47 threaded bottom bracket. Again, excellent choice from Trek, easy to service, no creaking noises, your mechanic will just love you. Cassette on this bike, Shimano Ultegra cassette, 1134 cassette. So you see now 1134 cassette, which is paired with Shimano Ultegra 50-34 chain rings. You have this excellent 1-to-1 gear ratio, so no problems with long days in the saddle, no problems with climbing any steep mountains. Chain, again, they didn't cut corners here, so we have a Shimano Ultegra or XT chain, 12-speed chain. They are all compatible, which is excellent, and I also suggest you in the future to buy any Shimano level chain which is 12-speed compatible. So this is excellent. And the maximum chainring size you can fit here is going to be 52-36 if you really want to go higher in the chainring size. When you look at some smaller components like the saddle, this is the Bontrager Verse saddle. I'm not expecting anything special here. If you like it, you like it. If not, it's very easy to replace this saddle with your preferred saddle. The good thing is that when you look at the seat post, you are getting Trek's carbon fiber seat post with a 20mm offset. This is excellent because you know that, in my opinion, every road bike today should come with a carbon fiber seat post, because as long as you have a carbon fiber seat post, it will definitely soak up some of the smaller road bumps, and since the point of this bike is to be as comfortable as possible, that's absolutely great. Now when you look at the handlebars and the stem. Handlebar is the Bontrager Elite IsoZone, which is an aluminum handlebar, and also the stem is the Bontrager RCS Pro, which is an aluminum stem. Good thing here is that all of these pieces nothing is proprietary here. It's a standard handlebar and the stem, separate pieces, very easy to adjust your position on the bike, very easy to replace in the future. And although these pieces are aluminum, I have no problems here, it's perfectly fine. I wouldn't even bother in the future in upgrading to like a carbon fiber handlebar. in my opinion, it doesn't make any big difference. I'll just mention here that in the sizes 54 and 56, the handlebar width is 42 centimeters and the maximum width is 44 centimeters in some of the higher frame sizes. Also, when it comes to the braking system on the bike, you are getting a Shimano Ultegra hydraulic disc brakes, which are excellent. So front and back 160mm braking rotors, which again is superb. They didn't cut corners here, and 160mm rotors are definitely going to give you a good heat dissipation and stopping power. And of course, these are the Shimano's Ultegra level braking rotors, which are absolutely superb. And I would suggest you in the future, when you destroy these rotors, definitely buy yourself a Shimano Ultegra rotors, even in the future. Or if you really want to go wild, you can always buy a Shimano Dura-Ace braking rotors. Also, just a little tip here, you can also use the braking rotors from the Shimano mountain bike world. For example, Shimano XT or Shimano SLX braking rotors. This bike, I forgot to mention, on the down tube comes with a little bit of a storage space, which is an excellent piece of design from TREK, so you can store some of your tools inside or maybe some of the food. And I would say the total weight of this bike, as TREK is saying, in size 56 is 8.26 kilograms. So when you add the pedals, another, let's say, 300 grams, so probably we are speaking about 8.6 kilograms out of the box in size 56. I consider this a very good bike weight for this endurance road bike. So TREK has definitely done a good job with, carbon fiber wheels and Shimano Ultegra Di2 electronic group set. So what is my recommendation to you when you consider the retail price of $6,830 for this bike? So I will just mention that definitely the secret sauce of this bike is the IsoSpeed decoupler at the back. Definitely carbon fiber wheels you are getting here, and a superb Shimano Ultegra Di2 group set. So I'll tell you like this, if you got the money, $6,830, I think you should just go ahead and buy this bike. It's a very interesting offering from TREK, and again, when you look at the competition, of course there's going to be some movement in the price, but on these levels of the bike as it is now, it's probably going to cost you again around $6,000 for anything out there that's pretty decent. So $6,830, if you got it, yeah, just go for it and get yourself a TREK Domane SL7. So I think this is going to be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing, and if you do, keep on watching, keep on liking, and as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Cheers!